Hey villagers, Cliff here. And this is UNAJUA, where we offer crowdsourced minimum actionable responses to important questions in 15 minutes or less. This is the final part of a 3-part share focused on how DAOs work. In this installment, Justin Irabor factors in on whether or not you should start a DAO. But before we dive into the episode, thanks to the Celo Community Fund for resourcing this ongoing season of blockchain-themed learning content. Thanks to their support, we were able to commission Michael Kimani to write a piece for Kenyan Wall Street entitled How African Digital Currency Innovation Found Roots in a Village. It's a great story about how a Kenyan village's digital currency has become a hallmark of African digital finance innovation. If you haven't read it, you can find a link to the article in the show notes wherever you're listening. And for more info on Celo's mission to build a financial system that creates the conditions for prosperity for everyone, visit www.celo.org. Right. Should you set up a DAO? Well, Nigerian creator, scientist, and knowledge worker Justin Irabor wraps up this series with a handy take on the matter.
The question if you should join or start a DAO is one of taste, right? Really. If you intend to start a DAO sometime in the future, you should join a DAO now. And that's because DAOs are really, shapeless things today. They change really rapidly. You have DAOs that basically set the paradigms for how future DAOs should behave. Nobody has the blueprint. There's a lot of theoretical papers on the internet about how DAOs should be set up. And so what happens is that if you want to set up a DAO, then you are admitting that you want to take on the cost of figuring out a lot of things. But if you join a DAO, you can get to watch how DAOs operate. And you can join more than one DAO. That's the beauty of DAOs, right? You're not locked in one particular organization. So if you join multiple DAOs, you can get like a framework for thinking about DAOs in general, which is something that I do. I'm a member of a bunch of DAOs. I don't even actively participate in all of them, but I love to watch how their governance structure plays out. And that kind of gives me a very surface understanding of, what is obtainable, what the limitations are today, what the possibilities are for tomorrow. So I think that everyone should join a DAO because it's not really expensive in terms of thinking. Like it's not the kind of thing that you wake up and that envelops your whole day. You can be as passive or as active as you want in a DAO. Again, it's up to you. And then once you've understood everything, you can then decide on your own level, on your own scale, what aspect of the world do I want to change and how do I want to change it in the context of a DAO? I know a bunch of DAOs that are just people who want to learn Web3 together. That's a bunch of the DAO. That's the point of the DAO. We're a DAO that contributes resources to creating projects that display an understanding of Web3 tech, right? And so it's not expensive, it's not cutthroat, and it's not even forbidden. Any single person can join in and participate. You have Developer DAO, for example, which is just a bunch of Web3 developers who, are learning Web3, And so you should join as many DAOs as you can, but I would say you should streamline it to your own personal interests. And when you can start a DAO with people, but not everybody should start a DAO really, because this is a lot of work, and one thing about DAOs, right? Starting a DAO versus joining a DAO, those are very fluid concepts because even the original creator of a DAO can end up being a member with zero ownership of the DAO because the only thing that the smart contract acknowledges is your token. So if you go ahead to sell your token, as far as the contract is concerned, you did not start the DAO. You do not have special privileges. You're just as much as any member. So those concepts are fluid enough that whether you should start a DAO or join a DAO, those things, is just do what will make you understand the concept of a DAO quickly, and, have fun. That's all I can suggest.
And that's it for this series. A big thank you to Justin for sharing his insights with the village, and a special thank you to you for listening in. There's a lot more where that came from, so do stay listening. But before we sign off, we'd like to encourage those of you who value our work to join our Patreon community. Sign up today and help the African Tech Roundup platform remains single-mindedly focused on serving Africa's tech and innovation ecosystem with robust, independent insight and learning content. The link is in the show notes wherever you're listening, or simply click on the Patreon tab on the main menu at africantechroundup.com. And a shout out to all the villagers who have already started to support our work in this way. We really appreciate it. All right, that's it for now. Until next time, take it easy, Africa.